PK52, the Saturday morning meeting, phase 2 of drive systems. Bill Nye the Science Guy, how to follow the pathway of power. Last week, just a refresher, I'm going to try to refresh track. Front end, differential, it moves power side to side. Well, the problem is not everything we make is front wheel drive. So everything we talked about last week that works the front wheels, if you're selling a Toyota 86, it goes to the rear wheels because it's a rear wheel drive, working basically the same way. Or you can connect these two real quickly, put a differential right there and a transfer case right here, and now you have a truck. So let me move this out of the way and let's talk about Tundra four-wheel drive, Tacoma four-wheel drive, but we'll use Tundra today. We have a front differential, we have a transfer case, and we have a rear differential. Now what we're going to do is we're going to make this as simple as we possibly can. So when you're driving down the highway, you have some options. Your first option is two-wheel drive. Two-wheel drive will be power to the rear wheels. Now again, the differential will allow the wheels to turn at different rates. We have traction control, so if you're driving on a slick surface and this wheel starts to spin under power, remember you can get throttle kill and an engine RPM decrease by smothering the air to the engine, fuel and air down, and the power might slow this wheel down enough to move the power over here, or the brakes can come on and transfer the power. Traction control. Let me go through a paradigm. You bought your truck because you're going to use it as a truck. So now you've got your boat, and I'm going to go ahead and put a little trailer hitch here in a gigantic boat. See, it's a gigantic green boat. So I got this boat back here, and my boat weighs 4,000 pounds. So I'm going to pull the boat up the ramp. The problem with the 4,000-pound boat is, first of all, when you're pulling out of the lake, you're going up an incline, so that makes the weight increase, and the water, for some reason, doesn't want to let go of the boat, so you have to pull the boat out of the water, and so that creates a little resistance. That boat ramp has been used all day long, so in two-wheel drive, as you start to try to pull this boat out of the water, the wheels are going to start to spin. And the problem is, if these wheels both start to spin because it's mossy or it's wet, traction control has a real problem. It cuts the power to be able to use throttle kill to go. So let me say it real easy. I'm decreasing the power output in order to go faster. So that's the downside of a traction control that works electronically. So, easy enough, I lock in the transfer case, which locks in the wheels, and now I have four-wheel drive. And this is called, Toyota calls it part-time, so let's do that. Part-time four-wheel drive. What that indicates is that I choose when I want to put it in four-wheel drive. So I'm in four-wheel drive, high range. That puts powers to both wheels. The problem is it basically takes this differential and makes it immobile. So when I move up the boat ramp, I pull the boat out, not a problem, and I start to turn to the right. This wheel is trying to turn the same speed of this wheel. I don't want you to tear tires up at the dealership, but if you take a Tacoma or Tundra and you put it out on dry asphalt and you lock it into four-wheel drive high and you try to turn a circle, it's going to chirp, 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 and that inside wheel is going to bite because it's trying to turn as fast as the radius of the outside wheel. So the bad part is, once I pull the boat up the ramp and I start to turn on this dry asphalt to go wipe my boat down, I've got to turn it out of four-wheel drive. So I'm in four-wheel drive, I get up the ramp, I take it out of four-wheel drive, I'm in two-wheel drive. I've got a fix for all of this. I have a fix for all of this. And this fix is built into your system, and we very rarely ever tell a customer about this at all. Automatic, limited, slip, differential. And, you know, I got a joke about this, and this helps you remember it. The reason why they called it ALSD is because Toyota technically didn't want to call this LSD. Because now your dad says, hey, I've been driving all over town, and you said, Dad, you've never moved out of the driveway, and that's an old 60s drug joke. All right, so maybe that didn't work for you. Automatic, limited, slip, differential. In order to do this, this is rear wheel drive only. So I'm going to pull the boat up the ramp. I do not want to go to four-wheel drive. I hold the track button off for 3 seconds. So that is 3 seconds on the track button. And what you'll see on the dash of the truck, you'll see it flash ALSD. So that is now automatic limited slip differential to the rear. I think I want to go ahead and explain a little bit more by using another company. Chevrolet and General Motors have featured a lock-up rear differential, Eaton G80 rear lockers. So once this wheel over here starts to spin, this one's spinning out of control, it's on slick surface like a boat ramp. Once it gets to a certain speed, about 20 miles an hour, it will lock the rear differential in and give these two wheels the same turn rate, which is like old school Positrack. So it locks up the rear. What we've done is we've taken the traction control, and let's do the two functions. We have throttle kill, or throttle reduction, let's call it that. Throttle reduction and ABS. The killer of using this on a slick surface is the throttle reduction slows the car down. So when I go 3 seconds on track off, ALSD comes on, and what that does is basically limits the throttle reduction. So now what I have is a traction control device that is purely ABS. So this wheel starts to slip, bang, the power goes to this wheel. This wheel starts to slip, bang, the power goes to here. And what happens is I never get that whoa, whoa, or a slowdown. It's just boom, 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 boom. So it's really working the system. And the brakes are kicking it back and forth, so it gives you a lot of traction. So this way I can pull the boat up the ramp. I'm not going to get any throttle kill at all. But the biggest benefit is now when I get up the ramp, I can turn right or I can turn left because I don't have that front axle engaged. And I can drive in ALSD mode. One of the great examples, a lot of you guys live north of the Interstate 40, so you guys get snow, sometimes you get ice, you get bad weather out there. As the weather clears out, you have ice in the shady part of the highway, and then you have dry asphalt. Then you have ice and then dry asphalt. Obviously, I could go to four-wheel drive high and negotiate the bad roads, but every time I got on the dry asphalt, for a mile or two, then I've got to go and kick out my four-wheel drive and go back to rear drive. This feature right here works from 0 to 35 miles per hour. So once I kick into ALSD, I can drive on snow-packed highways because I've got that great traction device here without throttle kill. And then once I get up to highway speeds that go above 35, it just kicks me right back into that rear drive mode again. So I can drive 0 to 35 miles an hour in ALSD and automatically go into regular rear wheel drive as I drive away. This is a great feature to explain to the customer because a lot of them have Tundras and they have zero idea they have this on here. And let me give you one more thing. Anybody that lives north, the front wheel drive RAV4, I understand that you want all RAV4s to be all-wheel drive. I understand that the customer comes in and asks for a RAV4. But if one of these two-wheel drive RAV4s sneak out of Florida and get up above Georgia and North Carolina and start to get up into Maryland or New York or get up in the icy areas, remember, if you turn track off to the front-wheel drive portion of that RAV4, you go into ALSD for the front axle. So what a tremendous feature that we've had on our vehicles for a lot of years, but we've not explained it to the customers. So now what we've done so far is we've talked a little bit about part-time four-wheel drive, we've talked how traction control works, and now we talk about automatic limited slip differential. Next week, we're going to bring up Active Track, and we're going to show you exactly what Toyota did and what they were trying to achieve when they put in Active Track. This has been PK52, the Saturday morning meeting. I hope it helps.